Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Brian. Hope you're doing well today. It's Thursday, the 29th of October, coming up on Halloween pretty soon. Certainly excited about that. I think anyone with kids is excited about that. Um, anyway, here just to do a quick market update. We're going to have a look at what's moving in Forex right now and see what opportunities or potential opportunities there are for breakout trades as the session begins. Now, first thing we always do when we get started is we check news to see if there's anything coming up that would be a potential pitfall for us. Something that might say, hey, red flag, there's some high impact news coming up, let's not enter the market right away, because obviously what we know around high impact news is the market gets kind of crazy, and it gets crazy for a number of reasons. The biggest being the uncertainty. What's happening with the news, especially when it's a high impact report coming out, a red report. When it's something that's high impact, we have to step back and go, market makers are uncertain of where they're going to do business. So you've got that uncertainty, you've got the market chopped around, people trying to exit positions. And then as we get close to the actual announcement itself, liquidity comes out. So the prices, the places where market makers are willing to do business changes. So all this in the middle, in between your bid and your ask, or your bid and your ask, in between those two, you end up with a larger and larger gap as we get right up to the news event. And that's usually seconds before news, but it's one of the reasons that we don't want to trade during high impact news, because that just simply that spread widening can touch in trades, and it can also take us out of trades. And if that spread widens quick enough and wide enough, it can actually slip us on trades as well. So anyway, you guys know that. Just wanted to recap it. So what news is coming out? Well, this morning we actually do have some news. We've got at 7:30 a.m. Central, 8:30 a.m. Eastern, we have the advanced GDP and unemployment claims. That's followed shortly after by a couple of European announcements with the refi rate, monetary statement, and then a press conference. And that could certainly be pretty volatile conditions around those. So especially on two really, USD and on the euro. So that only gives us, you figure, the U.S. session starts at 7 o'clock, which is 8 o'clock Eastern time, 7 o'clock my time. If it begins there, it only gives us 30 minutes to find a trade. So with that said, no matter what's happening over here, we've got beautiful divergence between the pound and the USD coming into the new session. But with the high impact news on both the pound and the Eurozone news, which could certainly impact the GDP as well, especially during the press conference piece, which I'm sure at some point some level of discussion might come up around during the Q&A part around the Brexit dealings. So this morning, today for me is one of those days where I just have to say we got a hard pass on a opening session breakout, and we're passing simply because of the high impact news. There's too much news too soon that would prevent us from taking a morning breakout trade on the opening of the new session. And again, the reason for that is pretty simple. We just don't take the unneeded risk. There's so much uncertainty around those high impact reports. There's so much that we don't know. Those are the market changers, right? You've got kind of a market trend. It's like that freight train that's going. I talk about this all the time. You want to be the flea on the elephant's back. You want to be the passenger going for a ride on the train. You don't want to be the guy trying to change direction of either of those things. I'm not going to jump out in front of a train and move it, right? I'm not going to jump out in front of the elephant and change its mind. If it's going where it wants to go, it's going to go there, regardless of whether I'm in the way or not. And that's the same, with market trends. The thing that does change them, that thing that can jump out in front of those things and make it change direction, is high impact news. And high impact news has that potential to be the market changer, the catalyst for that change in direction, that catalyst for developing new trends. So why try to front run it? So when you've got something coming out that's soon into the marketplace, the safest bet, let the news do its thing, then see what's moving after the news is done. And same with the press conference. We want to wait until after the press conference is done, then have a look at our currency strength index and see which are our strong currencies, which are our weak currencies, and how are they trending? Is one being heavily bought? Is one being heavily sold? Then we can pair those together and trade that on an intraday basis. But for the morning breakout session today, no trades, gonna move on. All right, so that's it. Have a great day. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning, and